I actually do love that they slept together and that this is like a scandal this season. Okay. But I agree. I think Denise was caught off guard. And once you deny it, you can't really undeny it unless you want to look like a liar. So this is where we get into my final verdict. I loved all of your theories. I can't get to all of your theories, but thank you. Keep sending them in and I'll keep, responding to them and we can continue to dish. And I'll do a part 2 on the podcast after we get to see the next few episodes in the reunion. But now let's get into my final verdict and reasons I think this actually did happen. So first of all, I think Brandi has some serious conviction and she's like really stood by that consistently. She has text messages, she has photos, she has timestamps, she has other people like Sutton and Patrick Muldoon to back up key timeline facts. I also don't think that a cheating scandal is something that Brandi would necessarily, that's not the route that I think Brandi would want to go in. So I don't think that if Brandi was going to make up a rumor to get back on the show, then I think it would be something maybe a little bit different and not hooking up with somebody that's married and has a husband, because that goes against everything Brandi has kind of stood for the past several years. I mean, she wrote a whole book about it. She wrote Drinking and Tweeting. And again, I think she's somebody that throws out flippant comments, but I don't think she's somebody that like intentionally, maliciously, methodically lies about things. I think she says things off the top of her head and she throws out these really flippant comments that maybe don't have, aren't fully valid, but I think she, is willing to kind of backtrack on those. And she hasn't backtracked on any of this and is very convinced that we're going to see her side and that she feels like she's going to be vindicated. Now, on the other hand, I haven't seen any receipts from Denise. And I think Denise has no receipts. Denise has more to lose. Denise sent NBC a cease and desist, and now we see that Denise is apparently making claims about Brandi, saying that she slept with somebody else on the cast, and saying that she's said bad things about them or that they've said bad things about her. And it's just like, come on, at this point, it's looking very desperate. It looks like she was caught off guard and is just trying to find a paddle or something to float on at this point. She's like, Jack and Rose just looking for a door that they can hang on to so that she doesn't die at this point. And it's like, why else would Denise want to have any of this footage cut from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Like, I understand you have your kids, but like, you've already thrown out so many other crazy things. You've already talked about your husband's giant penis. You've already talked about happy endings. Your ex-husband is Charlie Sheen. So like, why would you want it cut if it's just a silly rumor and it shouldn't affect you? Why would you go through when you've been dragged so much in the press, why would you go through such extreme lengths to have this cut from the show? And I think it's because she thinks she holds some strong power. I think maybe the Brandi story isn't 100% true. Maybe it's like 95, 98% true and just slightly embellished. Or maybe Denise and Aaron do have an arrangement but don't want it out. Maybe they were joking about their arrangement. Like, I don't really know, but Denise and Brandi, I believe, did have sex. Like, they definitely had more than just a makeout session. And again, Brandi has photos. Brandi has text messages between the two of them. I hear that there are a lot more text messages that are going to be coming out on the show, and they really kind of, again, sealed the nail in the coffin. I've got some insider tea that says that these next episodes are actually going to be really good. So stay tuned for that. But like, I guess my biggest question is, why is Denise denying it? And I think that she already denied it publicly and like really went hard. So there's no way she can backtrack. I think that's really what it comes down to. She lied and she was so strong about it. She strongly denied it. She told Bravo to cut it. She did the whole Bravo, Bravo, Bravo. She then apparently seems to be, I guess we don't know if it's true or not, but she seems to be spreading lies about other things that Brandi has said or other people that Brandi is alleged to have slept with on the cast, which to me just kind of sounds a little off basis. Like, if Brandi told this lie somewhere else, why would she need to tell it again? And again, we have Sutton, who's confirmed the rumor, who confirmed that she heard the rumor prior to taping. We have Patrick Muldoon, which again is alleged and it's hearsay, but Brandi says that Patrick Muldoon asked her, like, did you guys sleep together the first night that they were together taping, right before taping the podcast? So Patrick Muldoon obviously seems to have some sort of insider knowledge about Denise hooking up with women. And then we have Aaron, who, I mean, I believe that they may have some sort of open arrangement. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a don't ask, don't tell sort of rule. I know I've been around people that have open relationships, and some of them are like, we only play together, or some of them are like, you're allowed to play with somebody else, but I don't want to know about it as long as you're safe, as long as you're doing about it elsewhere, and it's not in our home, it's not in our bed, and you're using a condom. Like, go do what you need to do to get yourself off. I just don't want to hear about it. So I don't know what the terms of their actual agreement are. I don't think we'll ever get the full terms of their agreement. I don't even think Brandi knows the full terms of their agreement. But I just know I don't think Brandi would ever want to be the other woman. And Brandi doesn't really have a history of just making up lies. She has more of a reputation of saying too much, oversharing, throwing out flippant comments, but she doesn't necessarily double down on those flippant comments, and she's never really doubled down on any of those. We've seen her, I actually think that that heard Mohammed say the thing about Joanna Krupa. I believe there may be some truth to that. But I think she seems very confident that all will be revealed, whereas Denise just keeps denying and saying no. Oh, your source is Brandi Glanville, and it's like, when you don't have any receipts, you don't have any proof to actually back anything up, and all you're doing is saying it's not true. I'm going to call liar, pants on fire, and where there's smoke, there's fire. And if you're not even going to own up to a little bit of it, then, like, if you can't even say, yes, we made out and we joked about, hooking up with girls, like, even if Denise came out and said that, I think there would have been some redemption, but I don't think there's going to be any redemption. But we'll have to wait to see what comes out on the show. Again, part 2 of this will come out later. So my theory is that Bravo producers probably heard about this rumor of them hooking up, probably the same way that Sutton heard about it. And it came onto their radar. They were probably already looking to bring Brandi back now that Lisa Vanderpump was out of the picture, and they probably wanted to do it in any way. And then once they were like, oh, we want to bring Brandi back, she'll spice things up. And then they heard about this rumor. They were probably like, ooh, we can probably get this to spill. Let's do a little bit of prodding and get this to come out on the show naturally and organically, and probably used the scene at Kyle's house as an opportunity. I believe that they were probably scheduled to film at Kyle's house. It's highly unlikely that those things happen where you just happen to show up, and it that's just not, especially in Beverly Hills, especially in Housewives world, those kind of coinkydinks don't just happen. So I actually believe that Brandi and Kim were probably supposed to film that night, but I don't think they planned on bringing it up. I think production probably did a little bit of prodding, and Kim obviously is the biggest culprit in letting that come up, because you see her nudge it twice before Brandi actually spills the tea on it. I'm not sure I believe that Kyle knew from the get-go and used this as a setup, but I do believe that Kyle wasn't necessarily upset that this came out, and wasn't necessarily upset that she was part of it. I think her issues with Denise were a little clear, and she was kind of fine with it coming up. I don't think she was the mastermind behind it, only because I don't really feel like there was necessarily a motive for her to be the mastermind behind it, because I feel like Denise was already circling the drain, and I feel like Bravo producers had more of a reason to want to amp things up and create a great final end to the season, rather than they had more motive than Kyle did to kind of set this up. And the fact that all of this stuff leaks to the press, I think, is also sort of fishy, and I think I've always kind of suspected that there are either some producers or somebody on the inside of production that leaks these things, hence Puppygate last season. Now, there was the whole thing about Denise signing the 4-season contract for $4 million. I think that she is just, which again, I can confirm that those rumors are not true, based off of my own sources, but I think that she is so used to getting her way and so used to kind of getting what she wants, and clearly has a great relationship with the producers from what we can see. We can even see in the season when she called out to one of the producers that she has a great rapport with them. So I think she just thought, I have a big dick and I can swing it around, and that's why she decided to throw out the cease and desist, thinking that she would be able to kind of contain this. And I think Bravo knew that they could exploit her and they could, probably at the end of the day, I think they were both going to go into another. I think they both thought that they held the power and they both kind of threw their cards down and tried to act really strong. But I think Denise playing the cease and desist was her thinking that she held the power, hence all her bravo, bravo, bravo moments, because she wanted to really make sure that she was edited in a certain light and edited in a certain way. And I don't know, I think she has the most to lose in all of this. And the fact that she's already lied, she can't go back. It's like Lisa Vanderpump and Doggygate. She couldn't then take it back and be like, no, I actually did do this. It's like, no, you already lied. You already lied. You already doubled down on it and stood firm. And at this point, I think Denise is really just going to go down with everything that Brandi's spilling and all of the text messages that Brandi's coming to light. I know none of the text messages and probably the podcast recording that was, edited that now is going to be the full unedited version we're going to hear on the show. I don't think that we're going to hear them say, yes, we had sex, but I think they definitely paint a much better story that lines up with Brandi's facts than they do with Denise's facts, because we don't have any of Denise's facts. Denise doesn't have a story to tell, doesn't have a side to tell. I think if anything, the only way Bravo producers got Denise to even stick around and be a part of the rest of the season or be a part of filming her interviews and doing the reunion is by saying that it's bad and you need to tell your side of the story. And I'm curious to see what her side of the story is even really going to be, but I don't think there's much of a side to tell because she hasn't given us much. I think the other person that we need to really hold accountable in this is Kim Richards, because her hands are definitely not clean in this. I think she's the one that definitely pumped up Brandi and kept telling her that Denise played you and Denise, twisted your head and this is a really bad person that you're dealing with, and probably encouraged Brandi to bring it up on the show. You definitely see Kim nudging it twice in the scene at Kyle's house with Teddy and Kyle there, that she kind of kept pushing it, and you can see Brandi kind of been like, no, Kim, stop, what are you doing? And she's like, it's your story to tell, it's your story to tell. And then finally Brandi was probably after a while of filming, Brandi was probably fine, let's just do it. So I think that this was definitely a setup, not by Kyle, not by Teddy, not by Kim or Brandi. I don't even think they were, manipulative enough to cock up this scheme. But I think it was definitely cocked up to, it was concocted by the producers to give Denise a little bit of a beating because she had already gotten a beating and we wanted to end the season really strong. I think that they felt like they fell into a gold mine when they hit the rumors. I think that they knew about it. Brandi says that Bravo didn't know about any of the rumors prior to her revealing it on the show. I actually don't believe that that's true. I believe they probably heard about it because when they interview these women before each season, they ask a lot of things. And I think they probably, I don't know if it was necessarily from Sutton, but maybe from other people around them, maybe from other people that they were considering to get to join the show. Somehow, I think that they found out about the rumors because Sutton obviously knew about them prior to any of this coming out on the show. So if Sutton was able to find out, and even if Patrick Muldoon knows about Denise, then I think there's a bit of a reputation that eventually once Bravo producers were able to kind of confirm key pieces, it was okay, we're already planning on bringing Brandi in. This would be a great opportunity to do so. Let's go in guns a-blazing, full force, and prove that they're really putting their foot down with a lot of these housewives. Like we saw with Teresa, they broke the fourth wall in New Jersey last season and, saw her flipping off the cameras and saw her, manipulating behind the scenes with Danielle and telling her to pull Margaret's hair. We're seeing them break the fourth wall a lot more, that they're not protecting the housewives the way they used to. They didn't protect Lisa Vanderpump last season. That at this point, we're seeing this all really come out. So yeah, I think the producers were the ones that concocted all of this, but apparently there's a lot more good stuff to come, a lot more messages that are supposed to be spilled, some good podcast stuff that was on the cutting room floor from Brandi's podcast from when they taped it together. That's supposed to be coming out. So there's a lot that's coming, but that's my theory. Thank you for sending in your theories. Thank you for listening to the full timeline. Jesus, we're at an hour and 12 minutes. This was a long episode, but we broke it all down. We got through it together. There will be a part 2 coming out probably after the reunion, if not before. So keep sending me your theories if you have further theories after listening to all of this. But from what I hear, the rest of the end of this season is going to get good.